Good evening everyone. Welcome to the mobile application lecture series. This is the next session of first Android application development. So last class we had seen how to install Android Studio, how to create a new project, but we didn't complete the complete process. It was meant to make you understand the Android Studio, how to install, how things. But in today's class what we'll be doing is we'll be developing a mobile application and we'll be making it run on your mobile. So this is today's task. With this, let's begin our third lecture on Android. So we have already looked into the Android Studio, how exactly it looks like. So the next part is creating an application where we went and created an Android Studio project. This is how it looks. You do remember when you are installing Android Studio, it takes a lot of time. For every part, it is going to directly install it, download and install. So this is just a small exe file which has been installed. Now when you create a new project, the Android SDK is going to be downloaded and installed. Once that is done, we are how do we create a project? This is what we have seen. We go for a new project. Then we are going to give our name. What is the application name, the domain and the location. This all things we have seen how it is created a new project. Now then we select an empty activity rather than any other templates. We are going to select an empty activity. Then the activity name, which is nothing but the first screen name. The first we usually have a tendency of calling it as a window or a web page. In Android we call it as an activity. The first activity we call it as a main activity, which is the entry point of all the application, all the program, for the program. The next, this is how the Android Studio looks like. Here we have seen our project files. We went through the Java file, the resource file, we went through the XML file, all those parts, the layout part and how exactly the screen looks like. This is just to tell you how exactly we have already seen the Android Studio. The next, we have discussed what is manifest, what is Java file, what is XML file and what is Gradle. So all these things, all those parts we have discussed in the last class. Then okay, now this is a very important part which we are going to do here is how do we execute our first program. Now let's see, I am going to give you a demo from the creation till the execution how it is going to appear. Let's get started. So now I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to close the existing project. It is going to take a lot of time, but let's see how it can be done very fast. I'm going to create a new project. Here I'll be selecting an empty activity. The application is first Android app. Okay. So it is going to take a lot of time before it gets loaded. That's because my RAM is hardly of 4 GB. So please bear with me till the application gets created. So now everything is getting created. So what exactly we are going to do today is we are going to create an application of this screen which we call it as an activity, and first we will be giving you a hello world program which will be displayed. Then we will be having a button where on clicking this button we are going to change this hello world into hello MIT. This is our complete task. Okay, with this we are going to do the programming. Okay, everything is getting set up for the first time. So if you are observing, we have a Gradle which needs to be built, very important part. If you are observing, everything is getting loaded. We need to wait till it gets loaded. We should not touch any other parts till it gets loaded, because a small error could cause you a lot of problem while you are learning your Android development application. Wait, everything is get started. So only then we are going to go. wait for this. Here if you are observing, it gives you all the execution part, what is happening, the refreshing, everything is ready, I guess. If you want to get the confirmation, let's go and check it out, whether yes, everything is, our project is created, no problem. We have our XML file, main activity XML, we have a Java file. So this is what we have seen in the last class. So in XML file, if you are observing the view part, we have only one single small text view, if you can observe it. So let me change the view to the part and design, only design part, text part if you want, then I'm gonna keep it aside. Yes, if you are observing it, this is our one single text view. Each of this, if you are taking, this is a text view which we call, where we can just display the text, and this is a button, and all these items here we call it as views. We don't call it as controls, everything is a view. This is a layout. So every control here we call it as a view. So we call it as a text view, edit text view, we call it button, everything is a views. So Android application is full of views and layouts. So this is how it looks. So by when you create your first application, by default it creates you an main activity, a hello world, all the codes. If you are observing it, the first create code is also ready for you. The create code, which is very important. This create code has one important content called as set content view. Set content view consists of a resource. R means resource, because all the resources will be part of your R. R will maintain every resource, every view, every control will have an ID in a layout. So the first activity which is to be loaded is displayed, it is mentioned using activity underscore main. This is our first XML, or which activity to be loaded. This is nothing but our XML name. What is our XML name? Activity underscore main dot XML. The layout is nothing but activity underscore main. So we have seen this. Now without explaining anything else, let's straight away go and execute the program. But do remember, if you have a 8 GB, then you have to create something called as AVD, Android Virtual Device. Say example, if you are observing it here. So run your app. When we go for run your application, it asks you to create a virtual device. So since I have already connected my system, it will not ask for me, but if you want to execute it on your laptop, then you have to create a virtual device, as we discussed in the previous class. So that emulator will be created. On top of the emulator, you can load whichever the Android version on it. The complete OS will go and sit onto the emulator, and then your application will run on top of it. But since I do not have a 8 GB RAM, so I will be showing you how it can be done. So how do we create a virtual device? So to create a virtual device, you need to go for tools. Here you have a AVD manager. Clicking on this, the AVD manager gets loaded. Wait for a second till it gets loaded. In this Android virtual device, we are going to select what kind of which screen you want. So irrespective of the model, which screen you want, you can create virtual device. You can develop applications for watches or laptop or desktop or many other stuff. You're going to create which device you want to create. You're going to select it here. Then you will be selecting which is the Android version you're going to select, which this is the selection of the Android. You want to select Pi, you want to select Oreo, all those versions are displayed here. After that, you're going to give the name for your AVD, and then you're going to say finish. So when you do this activity, actually it will again download the respective Android version, and then it will install and it will create an Android virtual device with the emulator. Emulator will be ready. Since mine is a 4 GB, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cancel this. the complete AVD manager. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how you can connect your device and how you can run your application onto your mobile phones. So for which you have to connect your mobile phone with a USB cable, and then I'm going to show you after connecting my USB cable, it will not be directly linked to it. So what you are supposed to do is, first, if you are as Samsung or any Android mobiles, most of you are using Android mobiles, if it has to be, your mobile has to be connected to your Android Studio, then you have to do certain settings for the first time. What all the settings? You observe it. I'm going to go for the settings first. Settings I'll be going. If you are observing bottom, I have something called as developer options. Usually for the first time you will not find this. You will not be having these developer options for the first time. You need to create that. How do we do that? Go to about phone. Then you have something called as software information. Select the software information. Then you will be able to go for build number. What you are supposed to do is you have to click 7 times or 8 times on the build number. Keep on clicking the build number 7 times and it will ask for the password, your mobile password. Once you enter, automatically the developer option will be enabled here at the bottom of your phone. Once the developer options are enabled, you have to select and you have to enable the developer option. I have enabled the developer option. If you are observing it, I have enabled the developer option. And then I am gonna, one more important enable you have to do is the USB tethering. You have to do the USB tethering. So I made it caused a problem since I disconnected it. Let it load for a while. Yes, I am back. So now the settings are ready, the developer options. Do remember you have to enable your developer options on and the USB debugging on. So that is exactly, but don't expect your mobile to be seen on your screen. On your laptop it will not be seen, because for that I have installed another software called as Visor. So if you install that Visor, then your mobile will be reflected on your screen. But you don't require it. You hardly, what you have to see is whether your device is connected and it is recognized by your Android Studio. So now let's observe whether it is recognized by Android Studio or not. If your device is recognized, then it will be listed over here Samsung SM-M305F. Certain times it so happens that your Android Studio doesn't get recognized. So at that point of time, what you have to do is you have to install ADB drivers. You have to install certain ADB drivers. Say example. So if you are connecting your device to the mobile, then all these things has to be taken care. So this is what we said. We are gonna check the about phone, tab build number 7 times. Then you have to go to the USB debugging settings, developer options, USB debugging, it has to be turned on, and then connect phone to computer with cable. In case if you do not have the ADB drivers, still it will not be displayed, for which you need to install the ADB universal drivers, because your device has to talk to the OS, then you require those ADB drivers. So do install ADB drivers before you connect your system to the laptop. And once all these setups are there, better you restart the system so that all devices can talk. Okay. With this, we are going to execute our first program in our Android Studio. So in Android Studio, you are able to see your program is ready, and your mobile is connected, and when you execute your program, rather than executing it on your emulator, it will be executed on your device. So we can check it out what happens now. So my device is ready. You can check now. My device is standing. It is okay. Now it has, I have clicked this button by by mistake, so it has started already building. If you are observing it, you have a Gradle build running. Do remember, for the first time when you are executing, you are compiling your code, Gradle build will be built, which is nothing but compiling, where it brings every linked files together while building it. So even while you are building your Gradle, it downloads few of the softwares online and it will be kept in your system. So do remember, till you execute your first program, you need to have your internet connected all the time, or else you might find lot of Gradle errors which you cannot understand. So better you keep your internet connected, and whatever it asks to download and install. So this is very important step. Till you execute your final program, one or the other thing it will be asking you to download and install. Do remember, Gradle will also be downloaded and installed. So now with this, if Gradle is getting built, we have to wait for that, and once it is built, it will be installed. The APK will be generated in your Android Studio, and then on the Android Studio, the APK will be installed. We will be checking out once the Gradle build is completed successfully. So it takes time in my machine, but Gradle is successfully built, no problem. Now if you are observing, it is telling it is installing it on my machine. It is installing it on my machine, and it should be launched anytime. Yes, our Hello World application is on our screen. So we have the Android Studio, the first Android application is built and it is successfully executed on your machine. And do remember, you didn't type a single code. So all the codes were generated by the IDE itself, the IDE Android Studio. So this is how the looks like, very easy, very good, till you execute your first program. Till you execute, you have lot of download, many errors will come. Your device is not working, it is not connected. Do remember few of the keywords: HAXM installer, ADB drivers, AVD, all these things, Gradle, everything to be downloaded and installed if you are executing it on your mobile. And it will not be displayed on your laptop because it is connected with a different software. All you can see is whether your mobile is getting run with that application. So we have executed. Now let's check a small change we can do and check whether how do we enter time, how do we alter the code. So what is our expectation? I am going to bring a button now. On clicking the button, Hello World will be converted into, it will be replaced with Hello MIT. So on clicking this button, Hello World will change to Hello MIT. This is a simple program which I am going to show you edit with the same code. Okay, observe it now. How do we do that? I am going to stop the execution. This is button is to build and execute. This is for running and this is for stopping. If you do not want to run, you want to just build your application, just directly click here, the build. If you click here, it is nothing, build is nothing but compiling. It will compile and it will give you the APK. APK is nothing but your DEX file. which is ready to install and execute. So when you build your application, it generates a APK, Android package, which we call. Okay. Now let's go and bring a button onto our XML first. So for your XML, you have two things. You can view, you can look into it. Now small changes I'm going to bring. I'm going to increase the screen size, reduce it, increase the screen size so that it is better viewed for you. I'm going to change this, and do remember, if we do not set the constraints, then your application will be seen, your views will be displayed many other places. I'll give a small example. See, I'm going to bring a button and I'm going to drop it here. So I'm going to bring a button and drop it here. Button has come. Now observe it, I'm going to execute this program. What happens? Button is exactly in the center below the hello world. But because of the constraint problem, observe what happens. It will go and execute, it will be in the top corner of this, either this place or this place, because it has been not set with the way the pixels have been not set, constraints have been not given. We'll just check it out. It's getting launched. I'll show you. If you are observing it on your screen, on your mobile, where is the button actually? Button has gone on top of it, top left corner. Where it should come over here. This is what was expected. Now this is purely because the constraints have been not set. Now let me set the constraints first. I am going to set the constraints to this. I am going to set this is how you have to click on that button, and you have to pull it down. You have to click here, you have to pull it here, you have to click here. Hang, wait a minute, please have some patience till it gets done. Okay, click here, bring it here. Now I'm going to bring it up here. So now it is constraint have been set, and for HelloWorld already the constraints have been set. If you have this wire kind of a symbol, it has been set already. So now even for our button is also set. Now let's execute this program. I'm going to stop and I'm going to execute this program. Now you observe the button will be in the exact place where we wanted it to be. You can observe the button will be in the right exactly in the position where we want. It is getting installed now onto my mobile. It's launching the activity. Yes, observe it now. Button has come to the right position now. So this is the purpose why we have to drag and all those. The constraints has to match. Okay. And I wanted to show you whether can you see your application on your mobile? Yes, it will be installed and it will be at the bottom. If you are observing it here, so this is my newly developed application, the first Android app. So you can observe, you can see it on your mobile as well once it is installed and executed successfully. So with this, now the question is, on clicking this button, this hello world has to change. So every button will have ID. What is the ID? You can observe it in your attributes. What is the ID of the button? It is given button itself. You can check it in your text box also. So I have added a button, so it has come up here, and its ID is button. Its ID is button. So the view's ID is button. Now using this button, I am going to write some code in our Java file. So do remember, every view has an ID, number like ID. So we need to fetch that ID and we have to give a link. All those things will be explained later, but now let's do begin with it. Okay. So our XML is different, Java is different, the view is different, the code is different. Now we have to link both the things. To link it, the Java should know which is the ID I need to work. So the ID here is the button. So button is of type button type, and that button type has to be known with the Java. So XML button is different, Java button is different. So we need to link it. So that is where I am going to do a linking part. So in Java, I am going to create a class. It is already built in with a button. And I give a name, variable name, button. Now if you are observing it, button is an class actually. I am using this class. It has to be imported. So it belongs to which one? Do not worry, double click on this and say Alt Enter. When you say Alt Enter, it will show you import class. When you click on the import class, automatically the respective package will be included. This package is included now. So as simple as that. So whenever you are adding any new controls to your device, your code, then automatically which namespace, you no need to worry. It will only give you import the class, you can easily import it. So we have created an object. Object is btn and the class is button. Now this button is nothing but Java button. Java code knows this object btn, and XML knows button button. So now both has to be linked. So that linking is done using find view by ID. Observe btn, I am linking, this is Java part. So it has to be converted button. Find view by, automatically it is showing you whatever things. You can just center, click type 3 letters and say enter. We find view by ID, r dot ID dot. Now if you are observing it, there are two views we have used. What is the ID which we have used for this button, and for this we have used text view. So what kind of view is it? Text view. What kind of view is this? Button. So I am going to select the button part. So now what happened? Now with this line, it so happened that we have linked the XML to the Java. Only the button is linked, but we haven't linked the text file. Even this has to be done, right? Which means what is the type of the text? Text view. So now I am going to do a text view. Text view text I am going to give. It is also part of the button, so no need to worry. And I have to create text view txt, then text view, then text view. So now both the view IDs are linked. Both the view IDs are linked very well. Now after this, what we have to do? So now what is our observation? On clicking this button, it has to change to hello MIT, which means we have to write a on click listener event. For button dot on click set on click listener with view. If you type this, new view. So if you type, automatically it will ask you on click listener. This one you just click on it, automatically all these codes will be added for you. So on click listener, which means on clicking a button, a function has to be called. A function is ready on clicking the button. So this function will be called. What do we do here? In this button, we have to change text dot set text. What do you want it to be displayed? I want it to be displayed hello MIT. MCA. This is what is expected. So this function sets the text to the text view. So what happens? This is overridden with hello MIT. What was the previous text? It had hello world. Now I'm clicking this button, it will be replaced with hello MIT. This is a simple program which I'm going to do. So simple code. Now let's check whether it gets executed perfectly or not. It's building. And it is getting installed as well. You can observe what is the process happening. It is getting installed and you can observe the application has come up. Now what is it showing? It is showing hello world. Now on clicking this button, what it should show? It should show hello MIT MCA, hello MIT MCA. So our application is working absolutely fine. The first application, when you execute it, you will be very happy to see that, okay, it's working on your mobile. This is exactly how the developers are developing. Many applications are coming into picture. So with this note, so today's class, we're going to close it today. So we have successfully created a new project. We have completed a new execution of our first Android application we have completed with many questions with you. So what is find view by ID, what is R, what is set text, what is, many questions will be there which will be addressed in the next lecture. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can always raise your request when we with a mail or something, or else we are going to end today's question. Class, what did we learn today? So do remember, we created a new project. We with a hello world. Then the very important task which you have to remember was the Gradle, which has to be downloaded and installed. After that, I got to tell you how you have to connect your device to the system, where you have to install ADB drivers. Then you have to look into the whether the device is seen on your screen, whatever the mobile phone, it has to be screen here. Once that is done, click run the application. It will be installed on your mobile and it will execute. It will launch it on your mobile. So all these steps, if you do it, then we'll be ending up with our successfully, you will be completing your execution. With this, I'm going to end today's class. Thank you all.